Alrighty, alrighty, alrighty. Let's get this started. Now, excuse me. Um, my stream is a bit weird because I've been adding some new stuff with Streamlabs, so it's doing a lot of random stuff in my OBS, which I'm not sure why it's doing that. So we might have some issues here. Let me just quickly sort out my settings as ever, and then we'll talk about the game. I don't know if I actually need to pop out the chat, because I do have a chat window now, but it's not particularly showing up, which is interesting. Right, cool. I'm gonna have to pop the chat out then. That's weird. It's like Streamlabs has like its default has its default like chat thing on the side, but it just seems to not be working. But cool. Chelsea versus Morecambe, and the chat box is not working either because it's supposed to be on screen and it's not. So there we go. I don't know what's wrong with Streamlabs. That's so stupid. But yeah. Oh wait, now it works. Oh, now it's working. Why is it working now? Okay, there we go. I think it just must have just taken a long time. Maybe it's because I popped the chat out. Not sure. There we go. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Yeah, so this is going to be a fun one today. I think that this came at a very, very good time for us, and considering the form that we've had over the past 4 games, we really need, even in a cup competition, we really just need a win. We need to break the curse. Yeah, good way of putting it. We need to make a sacrifice out of these lot, I think, and make an example out of these lot. To be pitting a team that is bottom of League Two, or the fourth English division, and someone like Chelsea, who's in the top 4 of the Premier League, together, it should be a no-brainer that we absolutely demolish them. Like, regardless of which team we put out, we should be demolishing this team. I hope that we do, which will be good. Also, it's got the little, sorry, the chat, the new chat's got like new symbols for people. So it's got like displays, because this is supposed to be like, Streamlabs is really good for multi-streaming. You can put it on Twitch, or YouTube. It comes up with a symbol saying like who's who. I might start doing that at some point, but not for now. I'm still not really sure why the chat isn't coming up on screen though. I think it did for a brief second. It's gone away. I'm not sure why it's done that, because it's not supposed to do that. I've also got alerts working as well, hopefully. But yeah, before we get into lineups and stuff, obviously I've got the bingo card. We can do the bingo card. I've changed a few things on the bingo card, so we'll run through those. It's at the bridge, I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty certain it is at the bridge, which is really good for us, because we seem to do way better in the cup when it's at home. Because this is a weird thing. Like, our fans at the stadium are very weird. How we have very, very good away support. Our home support is usually quite quiet, because a lot of our season ticket holders and a lot of the people that actually go to our games are like older, I would suggest. We have quite an old fan base. But for cup games specifically, we always have really good home support. So hopefully that can kind of like get us going in this game. Let me switch over to this. There we go. And now we have the bingo card. We'll go through this. Also, you can probably tell from looking at it and from the last video, if you watched the last video I put out, but I've got a new camera rig. It's not a different camera, it's the same camera, so we might still see the flipping and stuff that keeps happening, which is really frustrating. But I've got like a new rig, so it's a little bit further back than I'm used to, which is why this looks really weird. I should not do that hand signal. That's why this looks really weird, and kind of far away. But basically I set up a teleprompter, because it just makes it so much easier to like read notes and stuff whenever I'm talking, and then I can talk to the camera like this and I don't look stupid. So there we go. For this, whilst I'm looking off to the side for chat and stuff, it doesn't really work, but for like main channel videos, that's kind of the vibe. But yeah, so here's the bingo card. We'll go through it. Like we had in the last one, we still have Disasi Howler. Spoiler alert, I do think Disasi will probably play today. Philip clean sheet ruined. This is for those specific moments where we are very comfortably dominating a game, and Jurgensen has played very, very well, and he should be getting a clean sheet, and then our defence just completely let him down, because that happens all the time. We have Why Are You There again. We had this last time, don't need to explain that. Former Chelsea player scores. I've left this in because I think that this is going to be like one of the things on the bingo card that just stays there every single time. Because basically Chelsea have players everywhere. I don't actually know if we have a player that plays for Morecambe. I don't think we do, or a former player. So I'll have to actually check that. I haven't actually checked them. Academy minutes, not for Ty or Josh. This is specifically because I believe that Josh and George will probably play today. I think that's guaranteed, so I don't want to get a free thing. This is for if someone that we don't expect to play, like someone like Keanu Dyer or Samuel Raksaki, who's also been rumoured to be going off to Frank Lampard's Coventry. That'll be funny. As for someone like that, someone we don't expect to play. Nkunku goal / assist, this is usually Palmer. I've changed it for Nkunku for the rotational games. Last week's scapegoat is still here again, so this is for when the scapegoat of last week basically plays really well this week. I would suggest that the scapegoat for last week was Jackson, so he probably won't play today, but if he does get off the bench, maybe he scores. Caicedo booked for a clean tackle. I changed this and it's reverted. This is just supposed to be for anyone booked for a clean tackle, so I'm actually gonna let me just fix that real quick, because Caicedo probably won't play today. James plays. This is again just in case Reece plays, and his position and him playing today is a big question. I'll talk about that when we get into the lineups. Defense scores again just for a defender scoring on either team. Player booked for Descent. Yeah, this is normal. Fight breaks out. This is normal. It's a cup game. There's going to be some fight. Morecambe in full flow. We see this last time. We'll see it again, hopefully. No VAR costs us. Well, this is not just for us, but it flowed better when I said it like this. This is because in these games, up until round 5 of the FA Cup, we do not have VAR, despite it being at Stamford Bridge. I think it's absolutely stupid, but there we go. So I guarantee there's going to be some kind of decision that would have gone the other way if VAR was in operation, but it's not. That's what this is for. Corner assist. This is for if any team gets an assist from a corner. Pretty simple. Hihe Sports is just for if Joao Felix plays. Someone scores a worldie. That's like self-explanatory. Winger to winger. We talked about this last time. It's basically those moments when the ball goes all the way across the box from one winger to the other and doesn't result in a goal. Nkunku as a 9. Again, we saw that last time as well. Extra time, because this can go to extra time. There's no more replays in the FA Cup, so this can go to extra time, and if it goes past the 30 minutes of extra time, it can go to penalties, which is one of the other ones that's in here. Oh, that's zoomed out for some reason. There we go. I don't know why I've still got this in here, because it's not his birthday anymore, but there we go. This is just for if Guiu scores. There we go. Grass is always greener. Again, I spoke about this one last time as well. This is basically when it's mainly for the wingers, because we always get that situation where, like, when one winger plays well, everyone or like doesn't play well, everyone always goes, oh, I want the other winger playing, and then when that winger plays, they do the exact same thing for everyone, for the other player. So it's just the grass is always greener, you know. And then the final one is the Bob Marley chant. But yeah, I am going to be putting up the lineup that I think is going to play, because the lineups will probably come out in about 10 to 15 minutes. So let's quickly do that. I need to bring this to the front. Boom. So up in goal, pretty self-explanatory. I think Jurgensen will play. I think this is I don't think anyone will ever get this wrong. If he does not play, I will genuinely be shocked. So Jurgensen starts as our rotational goalkeeper. Now the right-sided player, the right back or the right centre back, as we're going to be seeing, this is really contentious, because my head says that James is going to start, because he's been spoken about in the press conferences, and they said that he might start. I reckon he could start and get 45 minutes, but, or rather my heart says that, my head says that Acheampong is starting again, which is weird, because I think he played he played the full 90 in midweek, but it's been such a long time since that game that I think it will be fine for him to play another game, despite this being a rotational game, and we're still not sure if he is now cemented as the starting centre-back. I think it was just a one-off for Palace, so I think that he'll kind of play here, and then we can rotate in Tosin back into the Prem sides. That's kind of what I expect. Next to him, I will be putting Disasi, as we spoke about earlier. I think he'll play. Again, we don't really have many options at centre-back, because Wes is injured, and Benoit is still injured, so I think it's pretty obvious that Disasi will play here. Next to him, again, Tosin Adalabioyo. I think he will play. I don't think that Colwell will play after playing in midweek, or playing last weekend rather. I think he'll be rested for the Bournemouth game. And in left back, we know that Vega is playing because Enzo has already said that he's playing. Whether he is playing at left back or if he's playing in a midfield role is yet to be seen. In my lineup, and we'll kind of talk about this in a bit, he's going to be playing a bit of both. Into the defensive position here, the six. This is a difficult one because we do have Samuel Raksaki who could play here, but with the transfer talk going around him, I'm not sure if he would play. That being said, I'm also putting in a player that has got transfer talk around him. That's Cassidy. I think he will play. It's hard because we don't really have many options for the midfield because we don't want to be playing Enzo and Caicedo again, especially in a rotational game like this. We don't have Lavia in the team because he's still injured, and even though he's come back from his injury and he will probably get some minutes off the bench, I don't think he's ready for a start. And plus, he's for the Prem side. He's too good to be playing in one of these games, I would say. So I don't think he would start. He would probably get some minutes off the bench. Ahead of him, I'm going to be putting two very offensive midfielders here. One for Joao Felix, who I think will play either here or on the left. This is interchangeable. I would prefer to see him on this side because Nkunku is going on this side. In fact, actually, this is interchangeable. I think either of them can play. Mainly being, and this is annoying because I would usually put Kiernan Dewsbury Hall in one of these roles. But he's injured, so reportedly injured. We don't know if that's him actually being injured or if it's one of those things where it's because he's got a lot of transfer talk around him, they're saying he's injured so he doesn't have to play. Not really sure, but there we go. Wait, Enzo said who won't play. Who are we talking about? Sorry, I haven't been looking at chat because I'm in my flow. Who won't play? Cassidy? When did that my chat is delayed as well, so that's fun. Regardless, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't really mind. And then for the front three, I think this is self-explanatory. I think, yeah, Cassidy. Okay, so if Cassidy doesn't play, then again, this would probably be Sam. I would imagine this would be Sam. I don't have his picture in this document at the moment, so can't put him in there, unfortunately, but this will probably be Sam, so ignore this. Let's put this here. For the front three, I think this is pretty self-explanatory. I think that, well, I say that, the right side is a bit more contentious than the left. I would suggest that Madueke would probably start. I think that he's further down in the pecking order than Neto at the moment, which is kind of a shame. I think Madueke has got potential to do some damage in this game. On the opposite side, Tyreek George has to start, in my opinion. I think that this is a real kind of opportunity for him to put his mark down and say, like, hey, I should be getting more minutes in other competitions as well, because obviously now Mudryk is suspended and we don't know how long that's going to be for, because it could be indefinite depending on the result of the B sample. We still don't have that result yet, not to my knowledge anyway. He needs to step up and be like, hey, I can be playing on this left wing. Why have I not been playing? Because he is the only natural left winger in our side now, because Neto and Madueke are more right-sided players. And then up top, of course, it's going to be Mark Yu. I think this, again, a really, really good chance for Gu to prove that he deserves to be getting more minutes in the Prem. We saw a brief cameo for him off the bench in the last Prem game, but I think that he could really say, like, hey, I should be coming on at, like, 60 minutes, maybe, a little bit earlier, and be able to change things if we need to. Hopefully he can get... some minutes here. Let me just read the... let me just read the thing. Press conference because of transfer rumors. Oh, okay. I assume that would be the case. This is a really hard position. If he doesn't play, so basically, if Cassidy doesn't play, this will either be Samuel Raksaki, who could definitely play, who I'm actually going to put in here then in just so we have that not being silly. Where is he? I'm blind. I'm completely blind. I've lost. There he is. I'll put Lavia in, just for completion's sake. Because I don't have Sam here, which is annoying. I don't really know why I don't have Sam here. Do I have Sam here? Am I stupid? No, I don't have Sam in the document, so that's unfortunate. But I'll put Lavia in. Maybe he starts. I don't think he will. It'll probably be Sam. The reason why I've set it up this way, and I saw someone. Yeah, I think Lavia for 45 minutes could be a vibe. That's what I said with James as well. I think James could start and come off 45 minutes, and then Josh can come on, or the other way around. Obviously, Josh could start and then James could come on when it's a little bit less intense towards the end of the game. That could be a vibe to get him back into the team. As someone's just pointed out, and someone asked about who we would invert, it's quite clear to me that it would be Vega. even though these three, it's weird because both could invert. I think that Josh definitely could do the inverting. I think that Vega is just the one that's more simple, especially when we're playing two. Well, in my lineup anyway, we're playing these two offensive kind of tens rather than a 10 and 8 like we usually see. These guys will push really high, so you need the two back, and I think that Vega will come into the midfield here with whoever is he's partnering, and we get to see this. I say this, I think Disasi will probably might play on the left. These two can swap around. I don't really know which one would play there. That's the only reason why I'm a bit suspicious of maybe Vega playing as the left sided one, because obviously this puts Tosin on the left side, which he's not greatest at. So maybe we see Vega play with Tosin in the centre and Disasi on the right, and then Josh comes a bit further forward, and maybe he plays in that kind of 8 role that we kind of see. But for the most part, I think this is kind of what we should see. Has the lineup come out? Because it is now quarter 2. Let me do a quick check. They usually put it out like 10 minutes before. We can ramble about some other stuff as well. It's really annoying because I took off I took off my notifications for the Chelsea account because I kept getting spammed really badly, and now I just don't see their stuff on my timeline, which is really annoying. It doesn't look like it's out yet. So there we go. Yeah, this is probably what we'll see. As I said, I realized as well when I was watching back the stream the other day that I completely forgot for the Palace game to make a score prediction. I just didn't do a score prediction, so we'll do a score prediction now. Do I reckon this will be an absolute barn burner and we'll absolutely hammer this team? I think I'm going to predict something which I feel like it should be expected. I think we should, by our standards, be winning this game by at least 4 goals. I'm going to say that we win this game. I want to say either 4-1 or 5-1. Also, that's my my other half messaging me. Apologies for that. Do I want to say 4-0 or 5? It's either 4-0 or 5-1 is what I'm kind of thinking. Do I think Morecambe are going to score? I'll say 4-0, or do I say 4-1? I'm gonna say 4-1. I think that our team has been so leaky in the defense that even a team like Morecambe will be able to score against us. I'm gonna say 4-1. Yeah, that's a good shout, to be fair. If this is the thing, right? James has been. It's really funny because he always comes back, plays really, really well for an extended period of time, and then just gets injured and it's gone again. I don't think he ever comes. It's weird. He doesn't have that thing which most players when they come back from injury have, where it takes a bit of time for them to kind of start showing that they're like it takes a bit of time for them to get back up to speed. James never has that. He always seems to like kind of come back and then just it's like, oh yeah, we've missed James really badly, haven't we? And then he gets out again after a couple of weeks. Luckily, we know that this injury that he's got is on the opposite hamstring to the one that was like his really bad injury. So I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to re-injure that particularly. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? He doesn't get into those types of positions anymore because he's obviously been kind of dropped into this right centre back role. I think that if he could keep fit for an extended period of time, and he could prove to the manager that like, hey, I'm fit enough to play in a more advanced position, I think putting him in the Gusto role would be so devastating because he gets to do a bit of both of the things that he's really good at. Is that he can get into these kind of advanced 10 positions, take shots from outside the box, cross to the back post where he's really good at doing that from these kind of positions, but also be able to get back and help defensively, which again he's really good at. It's just a shame because we're all so concerned that if he plays in that midfield role that he's just going to get overwhelmed and then possibly injured again. And I think that's the only reason he's not playing there, because this is the thing, like throughout my build up to this season, when I was talking about Enzo Maresca's system and how he used Ricardo Pereira in that right back spot, I was so convinced the whole season. I was like, he is going to put James in that position if he's fit. I was so convinced, and we've never seen him play there, not once. It's kind of unfortunate, and especially it's especially unfortunate because of how like we are a team that sometimes will just need a player to shoot from outside the box and just try and make something happen. Like the thing which it always brings me back to one game is, remember the Man City game, the 4-4 from last season, where we needed a goal to get ahead, and Gallagher just decided, hey, screw it, I'm going to shoot from 30 yards. And he shoots from 30 yards, and he doesn't score from it, but he makes Ederson spill it, and that gets Jackson his goal. And it's one of those things where we don't do that enough, in my opinion. And in general, I don't think we put the ball into the 6-yard box or in and around the area in general enough. And like, this is weird because obviously I'm not a professional coach. I know there's certain things to do. There's certain things that you do and certain things that you don't do as a coach. If I was a football coach, I would be telling my team, if you get it out to the wing, just put it in the box. I don't care if it gets blocked, just put it in the box. Because if it hits a player, it might go out for a corner, it might go out for a throw-in, you still progress up the pitch. You're not going to get anywhere if you're just passing it around the box and not putting it in. And that's what we kind of see from possession-based sides like us a lot of the time, and we've seen it in the last few games a lot more. Usually we're quite good at this with Maresca, of like playing it through, especially with players like Palmer, and of course in Kunku when he plays a little bit deeper can kind of do that. But it is really frustrating seeing us kind of like just pass it around and just never putting it in the box. And again, maybe that's also because we don't really have any aerially good strikers. I think Guiu's a bit better than that. But yeah, I think Guiu's a bit better at the aerial thing. We kind of saw him getting on the end of things. His positioning in the box is actually really, really impressive for me, considering how little like first team football he's played. So hopefully we get to see him get on the score sheet. Have we got the lineups out yet? Come on. This is going to be one of these times, I can feel it, where it's going to be I've streamed early because they usually put the lineups out early, and then they're just not going to put the lineups out early, so that's going to be what happens here. Guaranteed. It's gonna the lineups will come out at 2 o'clock like usual, probably. Let me take a sip of my coffee. But yeah, I think I'm gonna for this game I'll probably do the tactical breakdown because I didn't do one for Palace, and I probably should have done. I want to get my new series up and running, so I'll try and do that for this game as well. Maybe it's a bit it's a bit weird because I thought about this, and obviously I've got my idea is to talk about every single player that played for both teams. But when we're playing a team like Morecambe that don't really have like the superstar names, it's not really. I don't think it's as interesting to do it that way. So that maybe I'll leave that for the Premier League games, and we'll kind of do a tactical breakdown for this game instead. It's Alex Rio is playing for Liverpool after he left on a free. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, right? We have so many talented youth players that like we can't keep them all, and especially considering we're a team that spends a lot of money, and you need to kind of get the pure profit back. We're gonna be making those sales. That's just kind of the way the model is nowadays. I think that if we're at least protecting the players that are almost, I don't know how to explain this, but like the players that are almost destined to be good, like in the future, as long as we're keeping those guys, I'm not really that fussed about us selling academy products, especially when they're still in the academy and they're not anywhere near the first team. It's a bit different when it's like, hey, this is a player that is, 19, 20, 21 and is starting to break into the first team, then we sell them. That's annoying. So for example, Lewis Hall getting sold or Livramento getting sold, those ones really hurt. They're kind of like, oh, because you think about it now, obviously we brought Josh up now, and it's good to see Josh coming through. If we still had Tino Livramento or Tyreek Lamptey, another one that we kind of sold, we probably wouldn't be having James having these many injuries, because he's always just having to play because it was just him and Gusto for the most part. And obviously Gusto's been getting his injuries as well, because of that as well, because of the strain that he's had to do. It's just like, yeah, Gay again. Thing is though, I think Gay's one of those ones where it's like, and I spoke about this in my last video, I don't think that he suits the team in its current form, which is kind of, I mean, he could possibly play as the right back maybe in the system. I don't think he'd play well as a centre back. If I'm talking about, let's think about like youth players that we've actually gotten rid of recently that would have probably been good in the team now. I mean, the obvious one that sprung to mind immediately for some reason is Dominic Solanke, but I don't think he would have turned into the player that he currently is if we didn't get rid of him. That's the thing which I always get, which is really funny, where people always talk about like Salah and De Bruyne, and people always say, "Oh, this is such a big loss for Chelsea losing those players." But genuinely, not so much in the case of Salah. I think Salah kind of developed because of Jurgen Klopp and the way that he was kind of playing it at Liverpool. He's turned into a really good player at Liverpool. But for De Bruyne, he would not have turned into the player that he is if he did not go out to Germany. Like, genuinely do not believe he would have been as good as he is now if he didn't go to Wolfsburg. He was so, so good in that team, and that's kind of made him into the star that he is today. Whereas I feel like if they stayed at Chelsea, we have this weird thing with a lot of players at Chelsea where they kind of, I think it's the expectation of playing for such a big club kind of ruins their momentum in a way. And I'm very glad to see, like, we kind of thought we were seeing that with Caicedo at the start when he wasn't having the greatest time at Chelsea, but now obviously he's proven how good he is. And that was one of the ones which worried me. I was like, oh, please don't have this is good, because Caicedo and Enzo, especially Enzo has it, but obviously he's been getting into form now. Enzo has this thing which I always feel like he always had the feeling of a player that was going to turn up to Chelsea, not do as well as most people thought, get sold, and then immediately start having an absolute superstar run at a different team. He felt like one of those types of players for me. Oh my god, it's the camera. That camera's gone. We were doing so well. We were doing so well. There we go. Thank you. God, man. Oh, Bulka. Yeah, Bulka is another one. Like, the thing is, though, it's weird with Bulka because, like, he's obviously gone off and done really well. Obviously, he went to PSG, didn't have the greatest time, but then went to Nice, and he's done really, really well at Nice. But now because we don't have Bulka, and obviously we don't have Slonina, who was another one that's kind of touted as the next big thing. We now have Penders, and I think genuinely, I've said this, but I think Penders has the potential to be like Thibaut Courtois 2.0. Like, he is that good of a player, and his stature is so similar that if he gets into the Chelsea first team at any point, hopefully like a few years time, maybe next year or the year before, or the year after rather, I think that he's going to be one of those players that, again, it's a worry, but he's going to be one of those players that someone else sees and goes, you know what, we'll put in a bid for them, we'll sell him for like 10 million, and then he'll become world class in the next year. Like, genuinely feels that way. He's looking like, as someone just said there, he looks like the real deal. And again, we're a team that kind of needs improvements in the goalkeeping area. I think Jurgensen's been good at every chance he's kind of been given. I think Sanchez is always going to be one of those players that's a very, very good shot stopper and does bail us out at times. But he's so just he's got the David Luiz gene, I think is the way I would like to put it. Obviously, we know how David Luiz was, how he was an excellent footballer, great passer, great defender, but sometimes he just decided, you know what, screw it, I'll get in a red card. And he just didn't. It was so funny. He had that. We had that a lot with a lot of our players, actually, where it was just like, we have that a lot now, where it's like, especially with Sanchez, where it's like Sanchez has a really, really good game and he's like saving everything, and we're like, oh, this is great, and then Sanchez just decides, you know what, ball's going in Rosie. I don't care, mate. It's going over there. We're just like, what's going on? Where's the consistency? Like, we don't have any consistency. We obviously had that with Sterling as well. Like, Sterling was one of those where, like, he was really, really good at times, and hopefully we make his deal permanent. But he was really, really good at times, and other times it's just like it always brings me back to the Wolves incident, right? It was like, how can a player that is like, he was like 29 at the time, or like one of the most senior players in the team, the people that we were calling upon for experience that everyone was asking me to credit, was just like completely missing like passes across goal like that. And it's like, one game he'd be doing that, but then the next game it'd be like against Luton where he just completely rips them apart. We always have that. He always goes for that. We bought him for 20, so it definitely isn't going for less. Yeah, I think that's probably a good shout. But like, it depends on whether it depends on how much Penders kind of plays, I think, because I feel like if he's not playing, I think now, because he's playing every game pretty much for out on loan, and he's proving his worth, I think that he's going to be a player that kind of has that price tag. But if he comes back to the Chelsea first team and he's playing as a rotational player and doesn't keep getting off the bench or whatever, or is just stuck there and not really playing, I think his value will go down in terms of a sale. Hopefully that's not the case. And speaking of hopefully we get the lineups like now, because they should be out soon, if not now. We've probably got 1 minute. We've got 1 minute. I'll take another sip of my coffee because my throat is gone, but there we go. I genuinely, I think it's with wingers that are quote unquote selfish. I think Madueke has this a lot. I think I think that Neto has it a lot. It's a mixture of trying to prove yourself to not only the coach but your fan base, and also just kind of not getting your head up, because we see this happen a lot where it's like, especially with we've seen it a lot with Madueke, right? And people always get on his back for this, where it's like, oh, Madueke always shoots and he doesn't look across or whatever. I don't think that's the case. I think it's more so the fact that because Madueke is doubted so much, he feels like he has to score, or he's just not proven himself. And I think this happens with a lot of players in general, where they feel like if they're not making goal contributions or like not getting the goals, that they don't like feel like they're appreciated. And this is the difference between English football and, like, I would say German football. If you watch German football, it's very much so that they appreciate the assist more than the goal. James starting, is it up? Oh, great. We see it like you see it with Bayern Munich, especially in the old days. Bayern Munich used to always score anytime they'd score a goal. They'd run over to the person that assisted it rather than the player that actually scored the goal. I think like we don't really have that in England. Let me quickly switch over to this screen for a second. And now I can get the lineup up. One of these days I'll figure out how to do this more efficiently, but I haven't. Lavia off the bench. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna have to adjust the screen here when it comes on, because I don't actually know where this is gonna be. Here we go. Okay, so our starting 11 for today, we have Jurgensen, we have James starting. Interesting. Okay, I did say that I think that could happen. I was being a bit more head over heart there. Tosin playing, Disasi playing, Vega playing. Yep. Okay. Lavia starts as well. That's really interesting. It's good to see. We get a Chempong on the bench. Lovely, so he'll probably come off. Oh, what? This is a really strong team. Wait, what? We have, like, no youth on the bench. What is Enzo cooking? Why? It's like, it's gonna be that Simpsons meme. It's like, oh, stop, he's already dead. Like, we get basically the whole. Oh, we get Neto instead of Madueke. Neto instead of Madueke. James instead of Chempong. Okay. Let me put this over to the side. Yeah, so on the bench we have Sanchez, Colwell, Chempong, Gusto, Cucurella, Enzo, Palmer, Sancho, and Jackson. You know what I reckon this is? I reckon it's Enzo has kind of been spoken about recently for the fact that he's kind of been underestimating teams. Like, for example, the Ipswich games where he heavily rotated the side and then we lost. I wonder if this is a big statement of intent of like, hey, I'm not underestimating this team. We're going to absolutely batter them. Especially considering they've all been given rest. Who else was there? It was Josh. Josh is not playing, and James is. James, where have I put him? There we go. Right, so I think the team will look like this for the most part. Although, let's see the lineup. It says it's the other way around. So it'll be this way. Tosin will play in the centre. Yeah, five attackers. This is good though, because this is what we should be seeing from this team in general in the league as well. We always spoke about it. Like, Enzo's philosophy was always, hey, 5 players in attack, 5 players in defence. That was always the way he wanted to play. But recently, after we kind of transformed into this new system with either Cucurella or Gusto going up into the 10, we've always had the 4 back and then the 6 up top, and it's a bit more unbalanced. I like this setup a lot more. I predicted 4-0. And now I'm sad because I think it's going to be more than that. Yeah, I think that's true as well. Yeah, I would suggest that as well. That Josh is probably starting against Bournemouth, and I think that basically what we'll see here. I think this is very, very obvious to me at least, is that probably what we see here because of the bench. What we see on the bench, we'll see James come off at 45. We'll see Lavia come off at 45. James will be replaced by Josh, and Lavia will probably be replaced by Enzo. That's what I'd imagine. And then next week at Bournemouth, we'll probably see a mixture of Lavia and Enzo again in the centre. I see. This is the thing. I'm not sure here, right? with Nkunku and Felix, right? I would say that actually the way that I've put this is wrong. It'd probably be this way around, right? Hang on, let me actually see. Yeah, Nkunku on the right. From the way that the lineup is on the actual graphic, Nkunku's on the right. Personally, I think this is actually better as well because I think Felix is more of a player that can actually. He's a player that can put the ball onto his right foot easier than Nkunku can. I would suggest. I think that Nkunku's less of a tricky player than Felix is. I think that he's more able to kind of jink inside and kind of fool a defender to put it onto his right foot and then try and score or pass through. I don't think Nkunku's going to do that. And in fact, actually, what we probably see here, which would be quite interesting, is we might actually see Felix play a bit more deep as a kind of 10 with Nkunku and Guiu doing the double up thing. Like we kind of seen this at times where they play as like two strikers. You might see that instead. I think that's actually with Nkunku obviously playing as like a second striker. I think this is one of those games where Nkunku's going to have a really good game here today. Probably, I'd imagine this would be a game where Nkunku shines, just because of the position he's playing in. I said this in my last video when I was talking about like where I thought the balance of our team needed to be in January in terms of how many players we needed as deeper midfielders and how many players we needed in this 10 role. I said that Nkunku as the 10 I think would be so much better for his career, and I don't know why keeps being shoehorned up into striker. It doesn't suit him. But yeah, hopefully we see this. Hopefully Nkunku gets a good game. Hopefully you guys enjoy the game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. As I said, I'm going to predict 4-0 for the scoreline. I'm probably going to regret that. We're probably going to win. This is going to be a classic Karabag or who's the other team? Grimsby, those types of teams where we absolutely batter them in the first round and get like a 6-0 victory. That's probably going to happen. I've predicted a little bit lower than that. Maybe my prediction's a little bit too kind to Morecambe, but there we are. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out as ever. I'll be streaming after the game as well with Feeling Blue, so I can kind of review the match. And what I think we'll actually start doing is that for games where I'm going to be doing the 3 added minutes series, I'm probably not going to do Feeling Blue because it's similar to that. Maybe I'll figure it out. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out as ever. I'll see you guys after the game, and yeah, enjoy the game. Hopefully we can get a win, and we don't have to be sitting here after the game angry as ever.